Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I continue to build the T-800, the Terminator. I am on pack number 10. Wow, I cannot believe I have 2 more packs to go, pack 11 and 12, and then I will be done with this build. It's been a fantastic build so far. It's a huge kit, very heavy and very impressive. I love the engineering that they've done just to make this kit. Anyway, if you haven't done so already, head over to Agora Models and check out this build and subscribe to it today. Let them know I sent you. Now, in pack 10, I'll be assembling stages 91 through 100. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range. Uzi 9mm. I'll be back.
And welcome back to another installment of the build, the T-800, the Terminator from Agora Models. Pack 10, yes, fantastic here. And we'll begin stages 91 through 100 here. And I'll take you through each stage as I go through the building process for each stage. So we'll show you that in a little bit. Let's see what articles are in the back of the magazine here. And here's an article about the Pacific Rim movie. I thought it was a really good movie. A lot there. And a whole lot of shaking going on there. Okay, let's look at the parts that came with pack 10. Let's look at the first 5 packs. Stage 91, assemble a muscle for the left thigh. Stage 92, knee, muscle, and foot, make progress on the left leg. Stage 93, build out the foot and construct another muscle. Stage 94, affix the left thigh muscle with newly constructed tendons. And stage 95, assemble and affix the knee joint. Stage 96, add the left kneecap and assemble a toe. Stage 97, build part of the lower leg and the second toe. Stage 98, construct the third toe and expand the lower leg assembly. Stage 99, build a 4th foot part and assemble the lower left leg. And stage 100, assemble the left foot and attach the lower left leg. Let's look inside stage 98. It's protected by this cardboard box. And there it is. Let's go ahead and get started on stage 91. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 91. This time we assemble the muscle for the left thigh. Here's all the parts that came with that. And we'll have to start using some super glue on this one. We've done this before on the right thigh. Moving on again. Put that on there at the very end there, and that's what it looks like. Let's look at the parts. Here's the parts for stage 91. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. And these are all the parts for the left thigh and also the part for the left foot. Everything here is made of plastic. First thing we do is put some super glue on this part. We'll put it on right about this location right here. I'm using my glue looper. I did a review of that and you can find it in my Amazon store. Next we'll go ahead and smush that together and it should hold very well. That's how that looks. Next we'll take this part here and we're going to insert it. And that's how that looks there. And of course that's gonna go on that just like that. That's how that looks. And that's all we do with stage 91. Let's head over and get busy on stage 92. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 92. Stage 92, knee, muscle, and foot make progress on the left leg. Here's all the parts and the list of parts. We do some more super gluing of the knee joint. We've done this before. The key here is don't over tighten that screw. Cut those parts off and they will get screwed into the foot. Then we'll bring over our Terminator and put our one tendon muscle on him. That's how it looks. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's parts pack for stage 92. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. And here's all the parts that came with this pack. Of course, the joint here is made of metal. The rod here is plastic. Three different types of screws in the pack here. First thing we do is we add a friction washer to the knee joint here. And put some super glue on this. There we go. And that should hold that in place. Next we go ahead and add the rubber washer to the tendon. We want to make sure that the larger opening goes over the opening of the tendon. Then we'll put our screw in. And we'll screw that down. And not too tight because it will make that actually larger and it'd be hard to move in and out. Next we'll cut these off the tree. All three of these will mount on the bottom side of the foot and they are keyed, so they kind of lock themselves in place just like that. A PB 2x6 screw into all three of them. That's good there. Now we'll bring over the Terminator and install this on the Terminator. And here's our muscle assembly. We want to make sure we install it in that configuration, just like that. And we're going to use a PM 2x16 screw. And we'll screw it down. Okay, that's good there. It's tight. That's how that looks. And that's all we do for stage 92. Let's head over and do stage 93. Let's look at the instructions for stage 93. Stage 93, we build out the foot and construct another muscle. Here's all the parts for that. And here's a listing of those parts. Once again, we did this once already in this pack. Gluing everything together there. More glue there, and that's what that looks like. And we put the other half of the foot together, and that's what that looks like. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 93. I'll take these out and we'll get a closer look. And once again, everything is plastic here, just like before. the other part of the foot, and some screws. Let's get started. Glue that together, and that's what that looks like there. Next, we'll bring over our foot that we assembled from the previous stage and bring on the new part, and we're going to sandwich these two together just like that. We're going to put 2 screws in right here, PBO2, and those were PBO2 by 6 screws, and that's how that looks there. That's all we do with this stage. Let's head over and get started on stage 94. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 94. Stage 94, we affixed the left thigh muscle with the newly constructed tendon. Here's the parts, and here's a list of those parts. Once again, we put some super glue in the friction washer and install it on the joint. I've done all this before with the other leg. Looking good there. Working on the foot. That's what that looks like. Let me get the parts and I will be right back. Parts packed for stage 94. I'll go ahead and take these out and we'll get a closer look. Here's those parts. We have a part of that tendon made of plastic, the joint area which is made of metal, and plastic ball joint, friction washer, rubber grommet, screws, and a couple of nuts. Let's get started. Okay, first thing we do, we're going to glue this in place, the friction washer. Super glue was used, and that's how that looks there. And we don't want to tighten it down too much, give it too much friction. That's good. Now we'll take our nuts and we're going to put that in there. I'm just going to put a little bit of super glue on it. So it stays in place. Just like that. We'll go ahead and put that tendon in place. Just like that. Go ahead and turn over the Terminator. We got to put the other tendon on. Okay, we'll install the other tendon, and that's going to go just like that, where the flat side pretty much is up against it, just like the other side. PM 3x12 goes into this, and that's the screw that has all the threads on it. Screw that down. It's good there. Next we'll put our tendon into this. Okay, next we put this 3x16 screw into this, and it's going to go through the one tendon first, feed through the leg, and over to the next tendon that has the nut on it. So make sure your nut is on the outer tendon. Move the leg up so I can screw it in. Okay, and that's good there. We'll cut these off the tree. bring the foot over, and we're going to take and put that on like that, and the top one onto that, and a PB 2x6 screw goes into this. And there you go. That completes stage 94. Let's head over and do stage 95. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 95. Stage 95, I assemble and affix the knee joint. Here's all the parts. Once again, we glue in the friction washers onto the knee joint. And we finally use our part from stage 86 that we had left over. That's the other friction washer. Assemble those with some screws. Install that onto the knee joint on the Terminator. And that's what that looks like. Continue on with the foot. Add some parts to the foot. And that's all we do there. Let me get the parts and I will be right back. Here's the parts pack for stage 95. I'll take these out. We'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. Here's the knee joint made of plastic. Looks very good. And the other part of the knee joint there, also made of plastic. Part of the foot, made of plastic. Of course, this is plastic. Friction washer, a couple bags of screws, and a washer. And we got the friction washer from stage 86. Okay, more super glue goes on this again. Friction washer from stage 86. Perfect. That's how that looks there. And we're going to put that on with a 3x12 screw. And make sure it's not the Allen screw. It's regular the screwdriver slotted cross point. And there we go. That's nice and tight. With the keyway, there's a keyway on top, and that's going to slot in just like that on the keyway. 3 PM 2x6 screws go in. Very good. All right, we're going to take his knee joint here. We're going to configure it like that. This tendon is going to go into this tendon here. So we're going to slide that in. And then this is going to go inside of his knee joint. And we got these two pieces of the knee joint here. That's how they're shaped. This one obviously goes on the outside. This goes on the inside. We'll find this is keyed. It goes into the keyway. There we go. And then the outside one goes in just like that. And we don't want to over tighten this. There we go. Just going to loosen it just a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's all set. Now let's work on the foot. Cut these parts off. And this right here is going to go right in that slot, just like that. And we're going to put a washer on the 2x6 screw, a PM 2x6. And we're going to screw that down. And go ahead and screw that down. That's good there. And we're going to push this down right over that ball joint. We want to make sure that our, doesn't really matter which way it goes, but we want to push it down. You should hear it click. And there that is. And that completes stage 95. Let's head over and do stage 96. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 96. In 96, I add the left kneecap and assemble a toe. That's what the parts look like. And with the toes here, remember we got to match the numbers that are on the toe. They are stamped on there. We're going to use the Allen wrench for that. Got to put some caps in there. That's what that toe looks like. Then we'll add the kneecap. We'll take and put some glue on the kneecap and install it where it needs to go. We'll add another friction washer and we'll glue that in place. Here's the parts pack for stage 96. We have more of those Teflon washers. And here's a close-up of those parts. There's the parts for the toe. We have a couple grub screws for those, Teflon washers, and we have parts for the kneecap plus some plugs. Before I begin, I'm going to go ahead and throw these Teflon washers on a screwdriver, and I'm going to put this in some hot water on my heating cup, my coffee heating cup. One is smaller than the other, looks like, and this will soak in hot water for a while. They'll be more pliable and easier to use. Okay, so we're going to start assembling one of the toes, and we'll take this part of the toe here, and this is the straight edged one. We have the shorter end and the longer end. The shorter end will go into that, just like that, and we're going to put our grub screw into this. There we go. Just like that. Both sides, just like that. Go ahead and assemble the other side of the toe here. We want the recessed side on top. We're going to grab one of our Teflon bushings. Okay, we'll go ahead and take the Teflon bushing off. We're going to insert that. Just like that, and we'll put the cap on. That's how that looks. I'm going to take some pliers. That's how that goes there. Next bushing. And that's going to get inserted for the toe. And put that cap on. Squeeze it with the pliers. And there it is. So looking at it from above, it should look like that. Now let's move on to the knee joint. Need to put some super glue on this and that. And just the glue down just like that. That's how that looks. Need to bring over the Terminator. Once again, the kneecap is going to go on here. We need to put super glue right there, right here, and right here. And perfect. We'll let that dry. Next, we need to put super glue on this because it's going to go on the knee joint, on the front, on the bottom of it. That's good there. So that completes stage 96. Let's head over and do stage 97. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 97. 97, I build part of the lower leg and the second toe. Here's all the parts that came with this stage. Same thing, we start building the toe. That's how it should look, using those Teflon bushings again. Now we work on one of the leg parts, and that's going to screw there, just like that. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts pack for stage 97. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts, and we received some of the parts for the leg here, another toe, Teflon bushings, and some screws. Go ahead and start assembling the next toe part. And that's how that looks. Look at it from the top. That's how that looks. Next we'll take our leg part. We need to super glue this part onto it. It's going to line up with a groove here. Put some super glue on that area. And this will slide on. Just like that. Then that part will slide on the end of this, and there's a little keyway here that this lines up to, just like that. PM 3x8 screw goes into that. And that's there, just like that. And that's all we do on stage 97. Let's head over and do stage 98. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 98. 98, I construct the third toe and expand the lower leg assembly. Here's all the parts for that. And this time we assemble the toe just like we did the previous two stages. And we start working on the leg again here. We screw on another piece of the leg. And that's what that looks. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. And here's the parts for stage 98. I'll go ahead and take these out of the bag and we'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. These are the parts for the lower leg, another toe, bushings, screws, and grub screws. And once again, we take this part of the toe, insert it, make sure the threads are on the bottom, and another toe built. Bring over the leg part, and the leg part is going to actually go right here. We're going to put a bushing on, just like that. And we're going to screw it down. And that's tight there. And we have some movement. And that's all we do for stage 98. Let's head over and do stage 99. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 99. Stage 99, I build the 4th foot part and assemble the lower left leg. These are all the parts. Once again, we do another toe. Then we start working on the lower left leg again. Get that to where it's fully assembled. Glue in some parts on. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's parts pack for stage 99. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. And we receive more leg parts, and that's these right here. They're both made out of plastic. Another toe, all the parts for that. More parts for the leg, plastic. Some screws, grub screws, Teflon bushings. And once again, we insert the first part of the toe. Make sure the threads are on the bottom. Perfect. And that's what that should look like. Next, we bring over the leg part. This is going to go on the other side. Put in this pin. And tighten it. And that looks good there. And we don't have to put super glue on it, but the next step is to put this on the outside, and obviously it's going to go through that hole there, and you can see the hole lines up. It's going to go through there and there. Okay. We'll put a screw on the back side, and that's a 3x8 PM 3x8 screw. That's good there, and that's secure. These parts on the outside, in the corners, we need to cut them off. And that completes stage 99. Let's head over and do the final stage, stage 100. let's look at stage 100 instructions, which is the final stage for Pack 10. And for stage 100, we assemble the left foot and attach the lower left leg. Here's all the parts we got. And we assemble the final toe. Then we gather all the toes. They should be marked 1 through 5. And they're going to go onto the foot. We're going to put a very long screw into those. And we got parts ready for the leg here. Finished assembling the leg part. We'll attach the left leg to the T-800 Terminator. And we'll attach some of the tendons to that. And that will complete this pack. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's parts pack for stage 100. I'll take these out. We'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. These are the leg parts here. These are made of plastic right here. The end caps themselves are also made of plastic. And we have these tendons here. They're plastic. Of course, the last toe, all made of metal here. And here's all the hardware and parts for this pack. A couple of locking washers, a couple of screws, some grub screws, some more screws here, Teflon bushings, and some rubber washers. And we'll assemble the last toe just like before. We'll make sure the threads are on the bottom here. Put the grub screw in. Perfect. And that's what that should look like from above. And line up all the fingers. They are marked number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Alright, so number 5 is going to go in just like that. We'll work our way down. Five. Number 4. Number 1. That's good there. We'll turn it over. Gonna feed the next ones in. So we'll put the next grub screw in, feed it through. First one. I really like how this is engineered. Very cool. And the last. And we'll screw that down. And that's good there. All the toes are installed. And that's how they look. Next we'll assemble the leg part. The small cap will go on the small end here. And the large cap will go on the large end there. Alright, bring over the leg part. And this last piece here is going to go on the top part. We'll insert a screw into that. And we'll insert that into the top. Put that screw in. Put my screwdriver up against it. And screw it. Alright, that's good there. That we'll take our large screw here, our 3x12 PM. We're going to put a locking washer on it. And we'll bring the Terminator over because that's going to install onto the Terminator on that hole right there, bottom of the leg. Okay, so this is going to mesh up to that. Goes through that slot there, just like that. Okay, screw that down. And there we go. Rotates just fine. Next, I need to cut these off. Two of these require the bushings on the front. Once again, insert the bushing into that. That's good there. Bring the leg over. Just turn this over so you can see it. These tendons here that we just put the bushings on, they go onto two smaller ones. Just like that. And just like that. And then the one without a bushing is going to go just like that. And that's all we do for stage 100. Can't believe I've already finished 100 stages with this. We've got 2 more packs to do, pack 11 and 12. So stay tuned for pack 11. It's fantastic. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and please give me a thumbs up. Head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this T-800, the Terminator, today. It's a blast to build. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.